You're going to get out of prison exactly what you put into it. If a person's decided that they're going to invest in the convict mindset, then their experience is going to be very different than somebody like me who's decided that this is not what I like. You get out of it exactly what you put in. If you decide that you're going to make a change, then that's what you'll do. But it takes a decision first.
So the Inside Out program started with an inmate in Graterford Prison named Paul. The now director of Inside Out, Lori Pompa, she used to bring students into the prison. And Paul, who's an inmate, said, wow, wouldn't it be a great idea if you brought more students in and we had a class in the prison, half people incarcerated in prison and half students. And it began with courses on criminal justice. So obviously, if you're teaching sociology and criminal justice, the idea was you'll learn a lot more firsthand from being inside the prison walls.
When I introduce the Inside Out program to people for the first time, what I often tell them is all of the things that Inside Out is not. As outside participants, we are not going in to study the inside people. That's just not happening. It is not research. We are not going in to help the folks on the inside. That's not what we're doing. We are learning together.
To me, the essence of an Inside Out class is bringing two very different kinds of communities together and to have both of them be transformed by the experience that both groups, in a sense, are turned inside out.
The first day of class, when I first walked into the room, it kind of reminded me in a weird way about being at a middle school dance, because we were all set up in a circle and the honors college students were there and we were sitting every other seat, and so there were empty seats in between each of us, and then the inmate guys filed in and kind of chose who to sit between, and it was kind of awkward and strange.
The first Inside Out class that we attended was pretty weird, because I wasn't sure what to expect, and then seeing people come in from a completely different world, coming into my little world, getting to meet them and talk to them and stuff like that was definitely an experience.
I was so trying to be at ease, and as soon as they entered the classroom, you don't have to try because everyone was so amiable.
I like meeting people anyway. When you're in prison and you're seeing the same people every day, years at a time, it is monotonous, to say the least. So meeting somebody new and just having a fresh conversation is a benefit.
I was worried that they weren't going to take me seriously or that they wouldn't be interested in what I had to say. That was incorrect from the first moment that I entered the classroom.
People can take the curriculum and use it as it is if they want, or they can take it and infuse their own disciplinary content into it.
The difference between my class and Lori's class is really not the structure of the class, but the subject matter. Because Lori teaches criminal justice, and my class, we read literary texts, and we focus on ethics. And I thought, wow, there'd be a really interesting idea to teach humanities and to teach literature inside. And I would think what you have to say, the subject you teach, should really be able to fly really well in a prison environment. It has to be that gripping, that engaging. I've been teaching the novels of Dostoevsky. As a matter of fact, Dostoevsky was himself in prison for 4 years in Siberia, and this radically transformed who he was. So the prison experience is very central to Dostoevsky. There's something about his understanding of the prison environment. Things haven't changed really all that much.
Now we've just started this week reading The Idiot by Dostoevsky.
Most people call him an idiot because he believes what he believes and he's unwilling to compromise it. That's pretty powerful. And placing yourself in a situation where you're thinking about that is powerful. Behavior starts in the mind.
We read Don Quixote by Cervantes, and in the first week of reading in Don Quixote, you get some philosophy, some craziness, and some potty humor, and so that's been really fun.
Don Quixote is a strange character. He's doing what he thinks is right, and he's not interested in what other people are talking about. He's not interested in whether you think it's right. He's interested in what he knows in his heart and mind and soul is right. It's very hard to stand alone. And examining those type of issues, those type of questions is important because when you decide on changing yourself, you are going to stand alone. There's a small percentage of people who've made that choice. And Having these type of classes gives people an opportunity to think about those type of things.
We're also reading philosophy by Emmanuel Levinas.
Levinas is probably the greatest philosopher of ethics in the 20th century.
They come in seeing us as criminals, and we may see them as people in school or, the outside world or whatever. So we all kind of structure our opinion about people on what we've seen before or what they seem to fit into and categorize them. But the point of ethics is to see past that and to see the actual person. It fits for the class because there's two different worlds coming into this class trying to learn the same thing.
The literature and ethics class, it just brings up a lot of questions that you might not normally discuss when you first meet someone. When you're thinking about these things and you're talking about these ideas, and you really get to learn about the person pretty deeply. It's not something that you would normally do when you're going out to coffee with somebody. You're talking about the days and this and that and the other thing. But when you're thinking about, well, what does it mean to be right? What's good? Having these type of classes gives people an opportunity to think about those type of things.
The biggest thing I learned is just there really aren't people out there that aren't my peers. There are people that I don't interact with because of ideology or geography or whatever reason, but there's no one out there that I can't talk to.
A lot of guys don't think they can learn. And when you don't think you can learn, you're not going to try. Being in the Inside Out class and figuring out that, hey, I can learn. There are things that, even though it might be tough, I can do it. That builds confidence. That makes you feel like, you know what, I can decide I'm going to do something and follow through with it. Having that confidence gives you a reason to say, you know what, I can do it because I have confidence in myself. And the educational process of learning builds that confidence.
I actually do schoolwork. I can actually like school. Maybe if I would have stayed with it when I was out on the streets, I might have, made it this far. Plus, it gives me a chance to see that how I'll interact with people when I actually do get out.
You go into this class knowing that you can never be in contact with the inside students again. And leaving on the last day was saying goodbye forever. Honestly, I think that's the hardest thing I've ever done.
The last ceremony, you do have to say goodbye. The first time I had to say goodbye, it was a little rough. I didn't cry though, but some people do, because it's hard to say goodbye anytime. It sucks, especially when you know you can't walk out of here. There's no chance you're gonna run into them again. You've accomplished something, you've actually finished something. Now you gotta say goodbye.
Pretty emotional. It's surprising how many people cry at the last class. And that was shocking to me, how much you attach to the people who are there and how much they attach to you.
It really proved to me that we are all just people. Prison inmates are supposed to be people that we have put into prison for a reason, and so we should be afraid. Society tells us that they're not like us and that there's a reason they're behind bars and we're free. And maybe that's true still, but when it comes down to it, when you're in a conversation with a person discussing a book that you've both read, then you have something in common and you're not so very different.
Okay, Don.
Everybody ready? There ain't nobody who's gonna make you look. All right.
What happens when you get to know each other is you become kind of a group. And even if it is just that moment in time in that room, you're a group.
Whoops, I think I took it.
It's like a pebble. I mean, it spreads out. I know that they've been doing Inside Out here for a while, and that I've talked to 5, 6, 7 guys who are excited about the next class they're gonna do, who've never even thought about it before, never even thought about taking any college before.
The name of the program is that, you're turned inside out by this kind of experience and you have a new perspective, and I think many of the students do.
Any day now, I shall be released. One more time. I see my light come shining louder from the western to the east. Any day now, any day now, I shall be released. Any day now, any day now.